Welcome back to Kev's Vintage Tractor Repair channel, and today what we're going to be doing is removing the engine from the gearbox. So as you can see here, I'm removing some of the fuel lines from the small lift pump. So we're just going to work our way around the tractor, removing pipes and bits and pieces, and obviously then there's going to be bolts which are all around the bell housing. Okay, so as you can see here, I've removed the oil pressure line, so I'm just sort of putting the banjo bolt back so I don't lose it. And I'm now on some of the top fuel lines, which obviously come from the filter to the injection pump, which normally a 7/8 spanner is normally the size we normally use on these. So the throttle linkage is out of the way. I've got another bell housing bolt which holds the oil pressure line on. You can see I'm taking out now. It's a bit tight. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm now going to nip the other side and just start undoing some of the bolts and get the pallet ready to take the engine. Now, on the top of the engine, you can see on top of the rocker cover, I've just made a piece of angle iron and attached my engine lifting device onto. So what I'm going to do, just so it just takes the weight, I'm not trying to lift the entire tractor, I just want it to take the weight because the bulk of the weight I want it to be on the bottom axle stand, the orange one, underneath the gearbox. Apologise, I'm in front of the camera so you can't really see what I'm doing, but all I'm doing now is releasing all the 11/16 bolts which actually hold the engine to the gearbox. Now, on this engine there's a few missing. All underneath the battery tray were missing, so there's not too many we've got to remove. Which the ones under the battery tray are normally the ones that are a bit more awkward to get to. I think that's the last one on this side, so I'm going to get up and go to the other side. I've got my coffee tin with all my bolts for the bell housing. I think there's only 2 or 3 the other side, so it won't be long before we can split it and see what treasures we find inside once we remove it. So it does take a little bit of time getting it right and making sure you've got all the correct tools in place ready to split it. So I should think in a moment, I've only got a couple more left the other side, and you'll see where the engine goes to the gearbox, you'll see a line, and you'll see that line will start to open up. Because I don't think this is sort of stuck together, where sometimes they are. What we'll do a little bit later on is, once we've got a few more bits and pieces off the engine, which will be on another episode, I'll obviously remove the cylinder head. I'm going to talk about timing of the engine. Now, there's different ways we can do it, but I'm going to show you the way I do it, because obviously we're going to rebuild the engines together, and I hope you can sort of follow along with the tips and tricks that I'm going to show you as we do it. It's now split open, so I'm going to take a little bit more of the weight of the engine. You can just see I've just nipped it up slightly. I'm sure I've got my lever bar on that side. There we go. Okay, so I've got my lever. So, lucky enough, this one's coming away quite well. A little bit more weight. So, we're just trying to get it off the splines of the main drive and PTO splines of the gearbox, and out it comes. And there we go. There's the old mouldy clutch. Okay, so I've moved the camera around, and now we're going to have a look at the clutch. Alright, this is an older clutch. It's a dual drive clutch, so we've got a PTO clutch and then a main drive clutch, which I'll explain more as we go through the rebuild. Now, there are 6 half-inch head bolts holding it down. This one hasn't got the bolts where you can lock the whole discs down, so as I'm undoing it, the springs will obviously come forward. And we can see this hasn't been open for a very long time. Now we'll just work our way around. So sort of same thing again. I've just got another tin which I'll use for all the back end. which I'll use for obviously for the clutch and when I remove the flywheel as well. But when we talk about timing, I'm going to leave the flywheel on there because there are timing marks on the flywheel. So just be a bit careful with these because they are heavy, like I say, but this is quite an old one, so I am going to put a new clutch on. So off it comes. There's the main drive plate, okay, which has been on there for a very long time. And we can see also on there, it's been put on back to front. Now all I would say is when you're pulling these clutches apart, we don't know what these are made from. Generally the old ones are made from asbestos, so put a mask on, wash it down with brake cleaner. Thank you for watching. This has just been a little mini episode, just to sort of, just to move ourselves along. The next episodes will be a little bit longer and a little bit more in depth. So thank you for watching and hope to see you soon.